world that is buzzing with new technology and AI, there is a new term in the market, and that is Agentic AI. But is it new, or is it something that we are going to interact with in the future as well? So we have our data and AI expert Romit Bhatia with us, and he's going to decode this term and the technology for us. A very warm welcome to you, Romit, on our show.
Yeah, thank you so much, Devika, for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Right. So, Romit, can you break down this term Agentic AI for us? We have been hearing about AI, automation, generative AI. These all terms are, we have been hearing about them. But Agentic AI, what is it? Can you decode it for us?
See, for a normal person, if you see, we know AI as something that we have been interacting with. For example, chatbots. We ask a question, it provides an answer. You put a question on Google, it gives you a response. You ask something, it provides you a response in a different language. See, Agentic AI is something that goes beyond this. It is a technology that can actually act on your behalf, okay? Which can act independently. So let me actually take an example. Think about a busy mother who is living in a big metropolitan city, and if she has an Agentic AI, she could specifically just say that, hey, my son is having a lot of cough. I need to see a doctor which is nearby and get some medicines. And by the way, there is supply of biscuit which is running low at my house. Now, what Agentic AI could do is it could figure out, okay, it's a son. This is his medical history, which means they can get the medical history. From the medical history, it could figure out, hey, what are the nearby doctors who are there? Set up an appointment with that doctor, look into this mother's calendar, figure out what are the slots which are open. And then, in fact, as it is doing all these things, it can also put those biscuits in that online grocery list, which could be ordered. So think about your own personal assistant. That's what this Agentic AI is. Let me take another example, just for the viewers here. We all go on a long trips, which we plan for like almost a year.
It's almost now, vacation time in India right now, yes.
Correct. Absolutely. So think about it, like with Agentic AI, you could just simply say, plan me a trip to Goa and a family trip. Oh, people probably don't go on family trips to Goa, but yeah, plan me a family trip to Goa. And it should be within a budget of, let's say, 1 lakh or 2 lakh. Okay. What Agentic AI can essentially do is it could look through, hey, what are the flights which are available? What are the nearby hotels which are available? Not just look through, it can book those things to you along with the local attractions that you could do within those 5 days plan, and all within the budget itself. This is, I think, what Agentic AI is at this point of time.
But how does it happen? How does it do this? Is it like following our patterns? So if you can also decode that in a better manner with some simple example.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's understand Agentic AI at the end of the day is using generative AI as its base. So if I want to break this down, what it is essentially doing is generative AI helped us understand what's happening within the internet. It combined all those things within a large language model, okay? Which means these models have all the context. Your Agentic AI is bringing automation as part of these models and is able to actually understand what actions that needs to be taken. It can now interact with the websites, it can now interact with the tools, and with these two things coming together, Agentic AI has become more and more powerful. It has also now got memory, okay? Which means that if you would have done certain things in the past, it could use that information and tweak its action again and again and again and become better at it. Now, let me take a very simple example. We also see these mom and pop stores or the Kirana stores. And typically at these stores, if you see, the person is always busy figuring out, hey, where is my inventory? What items have they need to replenish? or where they need to get the supplier. Now with agentic AI, small businesses specifically, they can ask these apps to look through like what are the supplies which are going low. Uh, the agentic AI could help them replenish it. In fact, order it when the prices are actually low. So the Kirana store guy or a mom and pop store guy, they can just focus on serving their customers. I'm from Kanpur, so within Kanpur, घर के पास भी ये छोटे छोटे स्टोर्स बहुत सारे होते हैं. तो हर बार घर के पास एक स्टोर है, वहां पे राजेश अंकल हमेशा ये कहते हैं, यार मेरा पूरा जो समय है ना वो वही खाते में चला जाता है. Now with this agentic AI coming in, he will have his personal assistant who can do all these different things for you. So this is the possibility of agentic AI.
But that, I mean, it sounds very good for small businesses, but there's a lot of possibility, as it's like, it sounds that a lot of decision is in the hands of this machine, the agentic AI part that you're saying. So in that case, what if something goes wrong? There's a lot of decision making in the hands of that agentic AI, that personal assistant you mentioned.
Correct.
So what if something goes wrong?
See, there are a lot of different things that can go wrong. So let me take an example. Let's speak about this Kirana store guy as well. So if there is a new employee at a Kirana store, you don't hand over the keys to this person. Same is the case with agentic AI. As we build these applications for a common man, for small businesses, or for enterprises as well, the most important problem is around bias, okay? And obviously data privacy. So bias could be in terms of, like, if you build an agentic AI app for hiring people and the underlying data on which it is trained is very biased. For example, it is biased to male candidates, then this agentic AI app would only hire people with male background. So that's an area where we need to look through on what information it is being trained. Second important part is accountability, correct? So for example, you are booking flights. If the wrong flight gets booked, who is accountable for it? Is it the person who has booked it? Is it the developer, or is it the company? I think there are frameworks which are needed essentially to work through this.
Right. So
now, in reality, what is happening across system within AI or agentic AI, which we say human in a loop. तो वो जो किराना स्टोर वाली मैंने आप लोगों को स्टोरी बताई थी, उसमें there is a very important example which needs to be there, which is if you hire a new person at a kirana store, you don't give the keys directly. Same is the case with AI. You cannot give everything and all the information to AI. There has to be a human in the loop, okay? Which essentially means that before this agentic AI puts any goes to any supplier or asks for any prices, they need to take the approval from the person with whom they are working. I think these are the workflows which
there's going to be a pop-up or anything, that a pop-up or something that comes up, and the user will know that, okay, this is what my personal assistant is going to do now. So that's where the decision-making power lies, and still in the hands of the human, I would say. That's what you're saying, right?
देविका स्पेसिफिकली वो रिमेम्बर है कि हम लोग के पेरेंट्स कैसे हम लोग को बोलते हैं कि बेटा सोच समझ कर डिसीजन लेना. सेम इज द केस विद एजेंटिक एआई. द एआई अप्रूवल सिस्टम विद सोच समझ के डिसीजन लेना हैज टू बी पार्ट ऑफ दैट एजेंटिक एआई टू एसेंशियली एंश्योर दैट द डिसीजंस आर मेड करेक्ट. I hope that sort of answered your question.
It does. But like in India, fake news travels faster than memes. So do you think that this agentic AI can be a solution to misinformation and disinformation that travels online during any trending event? We saw Pahalgam attack, we saw Operation Sindoor, Air India crash. So can it provide a solution there?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you see agentic AI essentially could help with any of the fake news. So what you could do is that applications could be built which could help identify, hey, if there is any deep fake, if there is any photos which is Photoshop or anything which is like not true, we could put applications on agentic AI. I will take a very specific example that every common man would relate to. So you wake up in the morning और आपके WhatsApp पे एक message आया हुआ है कि you are getting free petrol on 1st of month at 5 a.m. And all of a sudden, before you are forwarding it, think about an agentic AI application which is there within your WhatsApp group, which says, which looks into the news websites, figures out, hey, this is all fake. It looks into the government portal, sees that, hey, there is nothing, no such scheme, and essentially says to you, fake hai bhai, isko forward mat karna. Correct? So some of these things would be becoming very, very relevant in terms of the fake news, in terms of any of the fake photos or videos which is getting forwarded, and you could essentially stop them. I would say all our family groups, they have like a WhatsApp admin, and you get a lot of forwards in it. So with this agentic AI, I can tell you that no relative, no jija, no fufa will forward any of those fake news with this agentic AI with it.
Totally. But I hope Vishwas News gets a agentic AI bot like this. That will be really helpful.
Absolutely.
But when we talk about the data part, so I understand that, okay, sometimes the machine, the model is learning from our patterns. But when we talk about misinformation and the agentic AI part, so this data that it will move around or it will work upon, will this data only be the proprietary data, or it will be like anything that is online and it scans everything? So what measure do we handle here for the data and privacy part? Is it something that we have considered?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and I think I sort of brought that up earlier as well. At the end of the day, agentic AI is based on generative AI part of it. It's an arm of generative AI if you really see. The data within the generative AI is all coming from internet. Somebody or big organizations have trained these models or large language models on internet data. So if your information is there back on internet, it would be part of generative AI or large language models, which means it would be part of agentic AI as well. So data privacy obviously is one of the biggest area, as I mentioned. We don't have very clear-cut like rules and things which are defined around it. And again, these are at the very, very nascent stages. If you see, things have just now started out. As and when organizations start building in applications for, let's say, common person across enterprises, we will see a lot of checks and balances coming up from government agencies, other organizations, just to put arms around what laws should govern this data privacy, or I would say the AI privacy part of it.
So, but is this really different from generative AI? You've already mentioned twice that it's part of generative AI in some manner. So, can you elaborate on that? What's the technology behind it? How it is working? If you can elaborate that for our audiences.
Absolutely, and I'll try to not go too technical onto this area, or else this will become like a very technical interview. But
that
let me keep it onto let's try to keep it into three different parts. What has changed, which led to this whole agentic AI era coming in? Number one, we all know about generative AI. We all know how did it happen. We all know about ChatGPT. See, there are three advancements typically which has happened, and I mentioned it earlier as well, which makes agentic AI a part of generative AI or an arm of it. Number one, ChatGPT is now able to interact in normal, natural language. So you would have like apps on your phone with whom you could actually interact with, just like talking to them one-on-one. For example, tell me, hey, what's the weather? Can you tell me what is the latest news? You say good morning on any of those Google apps, and it provides you the summary of what's there within the day. That's one part where the technology has become really, really great. Okay. Second part, there has been automation and advancement in the automation area where AI can now interact directly with websites and tools. For example, AI can interact with uh, bookings related website. AI can interact with government website to fill forms, which means there is no human required. They could look through and scan through what is required in that form or in that booking, and based on the information which is there, can fill it up on your behalf. Third thing, which I also mentioned earlier, was the memory part of it, which means AI can now remember. Okay, which means if you would have used AI to sort of do certain tasks in the past, it remembers that, hey, Devika, you did this booking in this manner, or your preferences every time you do a booking, you like a hotel which is not like a run-of-the-mill hotel, you like a boutique hotel. So it remembers that. And when we combine these three things together, agentic AI becomes your personal assistant. It remembers your preferences. It knows how to play, how to work with like websites which are there, and also there is this whole foundation of generative AI which can help him or her get all the information which is available. I think these are the three technology advancements that has happened, which essentially has led us into this era of agentic AI, or this is what we are starting off. I think I try to summarize this in a very, very simplistic term, but
this was simple and quite helpful to understand. So can you give us some real world examples where we are already utilizing this technology and putting things at practice?
Yeah, absolutely. See, again, this is just starting now, and people are experimenting, organizations are experimenting with it. But there are a lot of examples or successful examples that we have seen. First example is in the e-commerce industry. So you would have seen people interacting with chatbots. जब भी हम लोग बुकिंग कराते हैं या कोई ऑर्डर रिप्लेस करते हैं, we can go to those chatbots and interact with them. तो chatbot में हमने लिखा कि यार मेरा ये ऑर्डर रिप्लेस कर दो, and then chatbot आपसे क्वेश्चन पूछता है कि ये ऑर्डर आपने क्यों रिप्लेस करना है. और इनफैक्ट चैटबॉट जो है ना, वो इतना इंटेलिजेंट हो गया है दैट इट इज एबल टू आइडेंटिफाई कि ये देविका है, इसने ये सामान खरीदा था और ये इसीलिए आई है बिकॉज ये वाला जो एक ऑर्डर था उसमें देयर माइट बी सम इश्यूज. These are the examples in the e-commerce or the customer service industry where we have seen agentic AI playing a very, very important role. Again, we refer to them as chatbot, but underlying there is an interface which is intelligent enough to do all these things. It remembers your context, it remembers what you have bought. Second biggest example is in the farming industry. You know कि India में किसान बहुत, and there are organizations and startups which are working in this space that can help the farmers. तो एक example लेता हूँ. There are startups who are working in this space. Think about a rural startup. किसी गांव में है, and then एक farmer अपनी crop उगा रहा है, and they are trying to figure out कि यार मेरी crop में यहाँ पे disease है, क्या problem हो सकती है. तो वो क्या करता है, अपना agentic AI ऐप निकालता है, crop की फोटो खींचता है, एंड उससे उसको ये पता चल जाता है कि दिस इज द स्पेसिफिक डिसीज विच इज देयर. ये डिसीज को सॉल्व करने के लिए मैं ये फर्टिलाइजर ये मेडिसिन यूज कर सकता हूँ, या आई कैन गो एंड लुक फॉर दीज अदर थिंग्स टू सॉल्व दिस, टू गेट दिस डिसीज आउट. समबडी हैज डन XYZ thing to solve. So this agentic AI can now provide all this information at a fingertip and also book appointment with the nearby store जहाँ पे ये fertilizer तुम्हारे लिए available है.
That can be quite helpful.
इसको अगर थोड़ा सा, so there are startups which are already working in this space. Healthcare could be is an other industry where we are seeing agentic AI as well. Again, healthcare में लोगों को थोड़ा cautious रहना है.
Sorry to cut in between, but I wish all the time that what if there is, AI is progressing in such a speed, and if there is something, maybe a chip or something on my hand, and if I'm like ill, suddenly if I just check that and it tells me everything that is wrong with my body. I think that is the very first requirement with AI that I would have personally. But you've explained the benefits and so many things related to agentic AI. But there are a lot of challenges as well. You talk about job displacement, job replacement, then there is the ethical part, responsible part of it, the usage, how it is happening. So what would be your say on that?
I think let's talk it in two terms. Number one, jobs. See, there would be a seismic shift in jobs, which we would absolutely see. ये जो भी हमारे डे टू डे टास्क है, ओके, फॉर एग्जांपल मैंने बताया बुकिंग के बारे में, मैंने बताया फार्मर्स के बारे में, इन टर्म्स ऑफ गेटिंग द राइट इनपुट्स, तो ये जितने भी डेली डे टू डे रूटीन जॉब्स हैं, आई थिंक these could be easily done within agentic AI. So jobs are gonna change. I will not say that, hey, like there is a complete displacement of workforce that would happen, but the type of work people are doing, it would change. If there are AI agents which are coming in, what you would see is there are requirement for jobs where people need to manage these agents, correct? There need to be people who are AI trainers, AI managers, and these are the new jobs which would open up for us. We need to be aware about how this technology works so that when these jobs are coming up, we are ready for it. You remember, Devika, that जब ट्रैक्टर आया था ना तो लोगों ने ये कहा था, यार ट्रैक्टर आ गया है, अब मैनुअल लेबर खत्म हो जाएगा, लेकिन ऐसा हुआ नहीं.
No.
What essentially happened was that it created new jobs. It created
now
jobs
there is organic
for
farming. There are so
people.
many other
Correct.
things out there in the farming field itself.
Correct. So those are the things that would happen. So I would say that job displacement नहीं होगा. Job में जो skill चाहिए, those things would essentially change with this coming in. And obviously, in terms of other areas, I talked about biasness. I talked about data privacy, laws that needs to be there. All these things really need to happen, right? As we are getting into this whole era of agentic AI.
Totally, Romit, and I mean, I think that's where AI literacy plays a very important role. We need to focus on AI literacy so everyone can get access to this technology. They understand how to utilize the technology better for their own purposes, their own vision and mission statements. So with
Absolutely.
this, I would like to thank you, Romit, for having this insightful and thought-provoking conversation with me. This was such an accessible conversation, and I hope our audiences will take a lot from it. With this, I would like to wrap this interview. This was all from me, Devika Mehta, in the AI Literacy Bridging the Gap series. Next week, we'll see you soon with another guest. Till then, stay safe and be careful.